at 18 entering into university. I was so excited at the thought of graduating. I think it's such an exciting moment, celebration, a farewell, and also a mark to an end and beginning of your journey. I thought that was very special, so I was very excited for it. But in third year, when you're scrambling around trying to revise for all your finals, and day after day passes, and how do you actually prepare for graduation? Now, 3 years later, I have officially graduated from Cambridge. So I'm here to share some insight into my own graduation. What happens, things like what to wear, how far in advance to prepare, what about accommodation, in hopes to further demystify the process and also to hopefully make your graduation experience as wonderful as mine was. This is the photo of the moment of my graduation. Hello everyone, so I'm Nessa. I graduated from studying law at Cambridge this summer, 2023, and I have been there since 2019. So I really enjoyed my time there. I felt like during my Cambridge University journey, there were a lot of things that weren't very clear to me, and I felt like we're really closed off, and I felt like I couldn't understand everything about it. And I think one of the things was graduation. Now, like I said, I think graduation is such an important event. It's not the be all and end all, but then it's a nice time for everybody to gather, to be thankful and to be grateful, and to see your friends and family, and to really reflect on the time that has passed. I think my graduation was very wonderful. It's now December, so it's been about half a year. I think back to that day with a lot of fun memories, but logistically, there are quite a few things to consider. So I think it's good to have an idea of generally what happens leading up to graduation. Typically, you'll finish your exams maybe 2 or 3 weeks before graduation. Mine was like 2 weeks. And then you'll have like a 1 week break in which I just went on holiday with my friends, and I thought that was like a really nice chill time. And then after that, you will have either 2 or 3 days of graduation events. Now this really depends on which college you're in, and each college will have their own schedule, and we all graduate by college rather than by subject. So all of Newnham third years and finalists, masters, everybody that was graduating, we graduated together rather than everybody who studied law. And I think this is something quite unique, I guess, to the university, and I think it's quite nice because I get to spend time with my college friends. And so in terms of the program for Newnham specifically, they gave us this program beginning of June. We had one day where we had a formal dinner where we celebrated our graduation together, and the principal made a speech, and it was like a nice little memorable dinner. And then the day after, we had a full dress rehearsal, and every single college does a full dress rehearsal. So this is where you wear everything, including your gown. Then we take a group picture as well, and then that is essentially them checking if you've worn the right clothing. And they're really strict on clothing, and I'll go into a bit more detail about this in a bit. Friday the 30th June was the actual graduation day, full day of program where we had photos taken as well as the actual graduation. And yes, this is the day. So firstly, the date of graduation. So Cambridge actually posts all the dates from 2023 this year to quite a few years in advance for all the graduation dates. I know that at least for Newnham College that they already had dates until like 2028, and so I could already see what day I was graduating. So therefore you can put that into your calendar in advance, and you can also notify everybody who you want to be there what your graduation date is, and that is in order to facilitate travel and bookings in advance. My graduation date was the 30th of June, and my last exam was actually the 14th of June. So you can think of just how little time that is to actually prepare and to think about what actually is important. Now, this is really important. Dress regulations. The university dress regulations are so strict, and we kind of look like cookie cutter with a little variations. So we all got an email about these regulations, right? And it says that if you are not dressed properly, you may not be able to take your degree. The general effect should be neat and tidy. So I found that the regulations, they don't give much freedom for what you wear, but you can still look very cute. Now, it varies a little bit by college, and so you really need to look at the college regulations. So essentially what the dress regulation is, a suit or a skirt / smart trousers or a long sleeve dress, all of which must be black. A plain long-sleeved white shirt or blouse with or without a black cardigan or jacket. Formal black shoes. Sandals are not permitted. Low heels, 2-inch maximum. Bare legs should be covered, and if stockings or tights are worn, should be black or neutral in color, so you have to wear tights. Colored nail varnish should not be worn. Makeup and jewelry must be very discreet. Headscarves, if worn, should be black or white. Exaggerated hair coloring are inappropriate for such a ceremony. You are asked to adopt a neat and tidy hairstyle. Hair ribbons or bands should be black. Graduates should not bring handbags, cameras, or umbrellas into the Senate House. So the Senate House is where we graduate. And then there's a list of following points that they have said to expand on them. They said that white doesn't mean cream, black doesn't mean blue, grey, brown, etc. Skirt lengths must be at least mid-thigh. Smart trousers doesn't mean jeans or leggings or anything else which might push the definitions to its limits, and long means at least ankle length. So very strict, guys, very strict. Sling back or open-toed shoes are considered as sandals. Long sleeves means wrist length. The neat and tidy clause means that the right clothes in the wrong state, for example grubby or very crumpled, won't do. And national dress cannot be worn. So I think when we got these regulations, we had a big discussion amongst ourselves, and we were like, wow, like they really got the point across. The reason is because if you don't wear the right clothing, well, firstly, you might not be able to graduate, and secondly, the college gets fined a big sum of money by the university. So in Cambridge, briefly, the university is its entity, and then it's split up into colleges, but the colleges are also its own legal entity, and so the university can fine the colleges. And so for me and basically all of my friends, we had to purchase something to kind of meet these requirements. So I got a white shirt, and I kind of chose to have this like ruffle thing going on in the front, and I thought that was really cute. And then I got a black skirt. I actually purchased a few black skirts from different places to see what I would look like in them, and then skin tights with some black shoes. I remember on rehearsal day there were a few people who had heels that were higher than 2-inch, and they got asked to change them. It's something that they definitely enforce, and even when you're actually in the graduation ceremony, they're like checking what you're wearing. So the hood and the gown itself, I already had it since 2019, so we all have to purchase a gown when we enter into university, which we call matriculation, and then when we graduate we use the exact same gown. The only thing that I had to hire was the hood. So I hired the hood that had the white fur on it, and depending on what level you're graduating, so master's, PhD, or undergraduate, you get a different hood. So for undergraduate it's the white fluffy hood, which I think is the cutest hood. So I hired that from a website that the university had sent to us. So the hire itself, I did that on the 26th of March, and it was £12 for the hood itself. So that was how much the hire cost. Now when you go to hire the outfit, if you already have a gown, you don't need to choose to hire another gown, because the gown that you need is exactly the one that you purchased in first year. And then the bow and the bands is what people would wear with a suit, or you could choose to wear it if you want. It's literally just the bow tie and then the bands that come with it. I did consider this, but because I already had ruffles, I didn't want too many things going on. But I did hire it, and I didn't end up using it, and they also didn't end up giving me the bow part, I think, or the band part, and so then I got a refund for that hire, because you need to wear the bow with the band and the band with the bow, and you can't just wear them separately. So they mentioned very discreet jewelry. So I had worn these pearl earrings that had a little gold heart and then some pearls that kind of went on the bottom of my ear. So I think having jewelry really makes your outfit pop a little bit more for graduation, and especially if you wear like meaningful jewelry, especially with everybody wearing the same like white top, black bottoms, we all kind of blend into each other. Then the jewelry part is quite nice, and I also wore black ribbons on my head because they said that all ribbons on the head needs to be black, so I purchased those as well. And I just had 2 here, and I had curled my hair and had like a half updo for my graduation. Speaking of jewelry, Anna Louisa sent me a few pieces to congratulate me for my graduation, but I also think that those jewelry pieces would be perfect for graduation and fit that kind of discreet, minimalistic look. The strictness varies depending on who looks at you. So I had some friends who were wearing like dangly earrings and it was fine. As long as it's not like really big and really like eye-catching, then it's okay. But wearing, for example, rings and bracelets and necklaces work really well. So Annalisa sent me these really pretty pieces and I really love all of them. The earrings are the Hannah marble blue earrings and they're so gorgeous. I don't own earrings that have this really unique pretty pattern, and it's very different to what I would normally have, and so I think this is a really great choice. As for the necklace, this is currently my go-to necklace. It is the Hannah rose engraved necklace. Also, they sent me this really pretty bracelet, which I think very minimalistic but also is very nice to complement a graduation outfit. And finally, this very pretty pearl necklace called Isabel, which is so cute. And this pearl is also freshwater pearl and it's very gorgeous. Thank you so much for sending me these gifts. So I'll link all of these below as well as my link, which you can get 35% off. So something to consider for the hood and the gown is that you will need safety pins to pin your hood onto your gown because they don't just attach. There's nothing to attach them, so you need to safety pin it. And where exactly to safety pin it is also a really big problem, and be careful of not stabbing yourself because somebody did when they were pinning it. But you want to make sure that it's in the right place, and this picture will give you a good indication of where it needs to be. Once again, they're really fussy about that and they will check you a lot to make sure that it's in the right place, so there'll be people who will help you with that. They told me that you can put your phone inside the hood if you want to when you go into the graduation ceremony, and I don't recommend this because it will make your hood look really weird. You can just leave your phone with your friend or family. So I think the two main things that I felt like I needed to book in advance is firstly accommodation for my guests, and secondly where my guests were gonna eat. So for graduation, really thankfully I had 22 family and friends come from different parts of the country to join in this special day, and I was really grateful for all of them. And so logistically I had to arrange the accommodation a little bit further in advance to make sure that everybody had a place to stay. So my first option was for them to all stay in college, so inside Newnham, because I thought that that would be the most reasonable and most convenient method. I actually went into the Newnham's accommodation office in January of this year to ask them if they were offering any guest accommodation for people. I think Airbnbs and also hotels in Cambridge are really expensive, as I would expect that if they stayed in college it would be reasonably cheaper, and so I wanted to inquire way earlier in advance to ensure that they could actually stay, especially because I knew a lot of other guests may also want to stay in Newnham of the other people who are graduating. So I inquired in January and I managed to book a few rooms then, but not everybody had confirmed that they were attending at that point, so I was still booking rooms up until June, and the rates were relatively cheaper than if I booked outside, and so I think that worked out okay. So first action step I would take is to figure out who's coming, give them an opportunity to think about coming, so informing them of the date and also the potential prices for accommodation as well as train times, so that they can come without any worries. I didn't want my friends and family to have to think a lot about logistics when coming, so I wanted to sort all of that out before they came. So it ended up being my friends staying in college, and then my family, they rented their own place, which was more convenient for them because they drove as well, and college doesn't have any parking, so that worked out really well. Secondly, for dinner, after your graduation, it depends on what time your graduation is, right? You don't have to have dinner with your guests, but I felt like it would be nice to gather all my guests and to feed them before they left, and so we had dinner after my graduation on the day of graduation. I know some of my friends that they had like a graduation meal the day before or the day after. It just kind of depends on what time suits them, and while this isn't absolutely necessary, I think it was something that I had to consider in advance and that I would definitely recommend to book in advance, because the bookings, they fill up so quickly in Cambridge. I finalized this booking on the 20th of April. And I wasn't really sure where to go for dinner because there were so many of us, 22 of us. And at this point by April, by the way, places were already booking up for graduations. So it wasn't too early, and all of my friends and I were discussing about, oh, where we're gonna eat for dinner, where's the space. And some of my friends, they went to a few other really lovely restaurants as well. Some really nice restaurants in Cambridge that you could consider for dinner. So for me, I chose Brown's. So this was not too far from the university, so that's why I chose it, because I knew I'd be graduating in like this location, and then we can take like a quick 10-minute walk to get to Brown's. And also in my first year of university, one of the law firms from London came over and they treated us to dinner at Brown's, and I thought it was a really nice atmosphere. But also another reason was just because there was literally nowhere that could accommodate us all that wasn't booked already, and so I thought it was quite nice. And my mistake was that they actually called me on the day of graduation to confirm the booking, and I didn't know that they would do that, and I didn't pick up my calls because I was graduating. And so when we got there I booked it for 6:30. They said that because I hadn't confirmed the booking, that the booking wasn't available basically. So I was panicking a little bit, but at the same time I was like, okay, yeah, well, I guess we can get takeout. But the people there were really, really nice, and they quickly whipped up kind of like an area of the restaurant that they allowed us to have, and then we all managed to have a really nice meal. So that was really, really nice of them. So as for the actual ceremony itself, so it's at Senate House, and every college on the day of the graduation, they will walk from their college to Senate House. So make sure your shoes are comfortable and that you broke into those shoes as well. So when you actually go into Senate House, you don't want to be holding anything, because that'll be when you walk forward to graduate. So what happened is that on the day of graduation, we had all kind of like done our photos, had lunch, and then we all gathered at Newnham, and then everybody walked together to Senate House. My tip here for you is that your friends and family should be standing outside Old Hall. So I had some of my family members who were standing outside waiting, and then a lot of my friends were inside Newnham. When we walked out, they couldn't walk with us because there were so many of us, and so have them stand outside before everybody starts walking through the gates. And then everybody's clapping, and I think that moment was very memorable for me actually. So Senate House, everybody gets 2 free guest tickets, so 2 of your family or friends can go into the ceremony. Now for Newnham, they actually had spare, so I managed to get free tickets, and that was really nice. But they can't take any pictures inside, and if they do, they'll probably be escorted outside. But make sure that they go in early so that they have a good seat when you're actually in Senate House. This would be what you have rehearsed as well. So we all line up alphabetically in our nice regulation abiding outfits, and then we get called in groups of 4 to 5, and we all take one finger of the person who is standing there. So she's one of the members of university, and she's there to help with the graduation ceremony. We all take one of her fingers, and I think I was the one who held the ring finger, and then she leads us out, and then we stand there, and then they call out our names one by one, and it's deadly silent. And when they call out your name, then you go towards your principal. You hold your hands like this, and then she holds your hands, and then she says something in Latin, which just basically means you graduated. Good job, right? And that is you graduating at that moment when she says that. And then you will walk out of the ceremony. So all of this is live streamed as well. So, and then you will collect the certificate. Now the thing to be aware of here, when you're in front of your principal and then she's like talking to you, that is when you'll get your iconic picture. So like this. So make sure that your face, this side, you know, you push back your hair so that it's visible, and that you're on level with her. So everybody has this kind of cushion here that you can lean on, because she sits for the entire thing, and so you kind of get at her level to speak to her essentially. And then that's you graduated. You get up and then you do a little bow, and then you get out. Now when you go out of the ceremony, you'll walk down these stairs, and you're supposed to go straight ahead and then back into Senate House, not like me where I went down and then I decided to go the other way, and they were like, oh no, it's this way. So just remember that. My tip here is that when you get out, you should go straight to purchase the photos first. There's a booth where you can purchase the pictures because the line gets really long. And then secondly is to go to where they're taking official professional pictures as well. So I got a few of those taken, and when we went there was virtually nobody because everybody was outside taking pictures, but then later on there'll be a bigger line. So it's best to get those things out of the way first and then to go back downstairs to kind of chill with your guests and to take all the pictures. So because you will only know your ceremony time, and your ceremony will be about 30 to 40 minutes, so you can calculate from then when to tell your guests to come back to Senate House. So I think because graduation happens so quickly, and then also the time between kind of exam season and graduation also is so quick. Firstly, you want to leave enough time to say your farewells and your thank yous, and that's because it goes by so quickly. And literally, okay, so we graduate on Friday. They kicked us out Saturday 10 a.m. So we had to move out by Saturday 10 a.m. And that's not a lot of time to say goodbye to your friends, especially when all of your family and friends arrive and you have to host everybody. So I would really recommend you to set away some time to really say goodbye to your friends. And me and my friends did that, and it's something which leaves us with no regrets because we got to really spend that time together. I also threw a little small farewell gathering in my kitchen where I just invited a bunch of my friends who I really wanted to see. Not all of them could make it, unfortunately, because during that time everyone's kind of everywhere. So that was essentially all I had to share for graduation. I hope some of it was helpful. When I first entered a university, I thought it was so bizarre and so many things I didn't understand. So currently, after graduation, I am a full-time private tutor. So I launched my own website and I'm currently managing the business on my own, and it's been a really fulfilling few months so far, and it's been really busy, and I've been really grateful. So thank you so much for all the support, and I will put those links to my business down below as well if you're interested. But thank you so much for watching. If you have any more questions about graduation or in general, please comment down below and let me know, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!